everybody, this is Lloyd with Just Got Played. I am joined by Erock and Jim Jam and Steven, and maybe I'm pointing at the right places. I don't know. But today we're going to talk about our top plays for July. We're almost through the year. So, Steven, what was your top play for July of 2022?
So I played a lot of games in July. You might have seen my video that I talked about all those games that I played at the Dice Tower Retreat. And I played some games since then too. But I did play two really good games at the Dice Tower Retreat.
Dice Tower East,
sort of,
to be fair.
Sorry, yes, Dice Tower East in July 2022. Yes, the retreat was like in October or something. So yes, Dice Tower Con. I'll just call it that. How about that? So I played, the Guild of Merchant Explorers. I thought was excellent, but in the end, I decided that Planet Unknown was the game that was my best play this month. So Planet Unknown was new to me, and it is, it's sort of a grandiose production, at least the versions that I was playing. But it's a polyomino game, and there's a lazy Susan, and on your turn, or when you're sort of the person in charge for the turn, you get to rotate the lazy Susan however you want it rotated, and then you get to pick one of the two pieces that are facing you. But then everybody else has to choose one of the two pieces facing them, just based on how you rotated the lazy Susan. And then you take that and you place it on your planet. You're trying to fill up this planet. You're trying to fill up rows and columns to score points at the end of the game. But also every tile that you're putting down, every one of these polyominoes you're putting down has two different things on it, and they activate these two different the two different tracks. And the tracks, one can level you up to get these city cards, which are like bonuses. One levels up the oceans track, which is worth a lot of points. Another one levels up biomass, which gives you sort of wild leveling of other tracks, or the ability to get these little one space squares to help you fill in holes, so that you complete those rows and columns. You have a rover that can move around, and you need to move that rover around because some of the tiles come with meteors that have crashed into the planet. You need to collect those because you get points for collecting them, but also you have to get them off the board because they block the row and column that they're in from scoring otherwise. And there's also these other pods in the planet that you can either smash or collect for points using the rover. And there's a tech tree, so you can level up the tech tree, which just basically lets you break the rules. Like I think one of the first levels lets you place the polyominoes not adjacent to other existing polyominoes, on the planet already. So there's just, a lot of interesting decisions there. Where am I going to place this? How does that affect things? What am I doing with this track? And then you might have some of these private goals to score, which you might get more of those from the city, level cards. But then also that you have two sort of goals that you're fighting over. Each one of your neighbors to right and left, you have a goal that you're fighting with them over, something like I'll have the most ocean tiles or something like that, to score points that way. So, it has, there's a lot of stuff that I just described, right? There's a lot of different tracks and, some rules about moving the rover around and where you place stuff and et cetera. But it all teaches really smoothly. I learned how to play it and played it. And then I taught it after that. And the teach was just real smooth. Everything just seems to go fairly logically. And the way things are laid out on the board and the tracks and all really help with that. So, yeah, I really enjoyed playing Planet Unknown. And that's my top play for July.
Yeah, that's a really good game, Steven. This is not my top play, but, you can't Kickstarter, crowdfund everything. I neither have the time nor the money to do that, and I did not do this one. And then a buddy of ours brought it over one time, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's that game. And we played, and I was like, wow, that's a really good game. And I also feel like the reason it's so easy is because you basically gave 80% of all the rules in just your summary there. I mean, all you really need to do is see how it all connects to work the game itself. But that was it, pretty much. That's the whole game. And it might seem like a lot, but really, it's not. You play a polyomino tile, you get some stuff for it, and you move on to the next round. It's nice.
And it's It goes up to 6 players, simultaneous play, so it plays really quick. You know, I like those high player count simultaneous play games because they just move along pretty quick.
Good pick.
Yep. Definitely top up there for me. 6-player games you can do simultaneously.
So if that wasn't your top pick, what was your top pick, Erock?
Okay, so like Steve, Tiffany and I also went to Dice Tower East and played a ton of games. I'm sure between the last time we went, well, that's not fair. That was like 3 years ago. But anyway, and I'll say till we go again, I'm sure this will be the month where we played the most diverse games of any month. We played well over 20. I'm sure everybody that went, and I'm also counting, I'm sure we're up to 25, 26 because we've been playing games since the con ended and everything too. So this was just a plethora of really awesome games. I want to say that our main objective when we went there was to catch up. We've been hoarding things on the shelf, and we managed to get a lot of that backlog played. So for us, it wasn't so much coming and playing something new as it was, let's play the things that we have. And my pick has been sitting on the shelf for a year and a half, I believe. It was given to us by some good friends, and it is called Black Angel. I loved Black Angel. Now, there's a lot of people, and so just saying, it's kind of a spiritual successor to the game Trois. I love Trois. Quite frankly, though, I don't think they're that related. I can see the roots because just like in Trois, you roll dice and other people can buy your dice to use them. But that's really it. There's nothing else that's the same between these two games. The basic premise of Black Angel is the Earth blew up or whatever, and we sent like a seed ship out. And it's flying through space trying to find another habitable planet. And all it has is like human DNA or whatever on it. And it's run by computers, which are AIs. And the idea is that the governments of the Earth couldn't decide amongst themselves on a single AI. So they put competing AIs on this ship to see which one would be the best one to guide us to our new home and then shepherd us once we got there, which sounds really silly until you sit and think about it and go, yeah, that's probably what would actually happen, really. But so you have all these different things going on. You basically control these robots, and you can put them in different sections to give you more dice to roll of certain colors. And you have your own technology board, which you can research and push things around. And I really like the way that works because as you research things, as you fill the board up, you push technologies off of them. So you only have like a 3x3 grid, I think. It's 3x3. And then like if I put enough things up, it's going to knock that one off. And if that's a scoring tile, then it goes on my scoring board for the end of the game. And that's really cool. And meanwhile, the ship itself is going through space. And it has this like, I don't know if you've ever played Battle at Kemple's Cascade, but it has that mechanism in it where like you're like flying here and then you pick it up and move it to the end. You move on. And so you just keep like cycling through these space tiles till you finally get to the planet that you're going to. There's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of, you use the dice basically for everything to move the robots around in the ship. The robots have their own little ships. So you can put a robot in a little ship and it'll go visit like these aliens and get stuff or things like that along the way. There's all these different levels of things going on. They really interconnect really well. And out of all the absolutely fantastic games we played, for me, this was my top play of June. And I don't want to hijack everything, but Tiffany couldn't make it tonight, but she did want me to talk about her pick. And her pick, unlike mine, is absolutely new. So we demoed the game Gutenberg in Portal's demo room at the con, and she absolutely fell in love with it. I think it's a very good game also. We actually picked it up on the way home from the con, and we've played it multiple times since then. But Gutenberg it's a very procedural game in that first we do this, then we do this, then we do this. And it's basically right after, as the name would imply, it's about right after the printing press was invented. So you're all basically different competing printing press companies. And it's abstracted down a bit because it's not like you're printing a treatise out or something, but you get these little wooden, and they're actually wooden, like typesets. And so you get these contracts, and it'll be like, well, you need an A, an I, an O, and a U. And then it pairs up with this other like artistic flair kind of a card. And it'll be like, you need also a blue ink, a red ink, and you need your calligraphy skill at least at level 3, and you need your typesetting skill at least at level 2 kind of a thing. And you have to do the letter part. You have to have the A, I, O, U part. And then then you get bonuses if you complete the rest of the stuff on the other card. And the whole game is basically just it's kind of it's almost like an auction to get this, because you go through them in order. Like first you get your orders, then you get your inks, then you get your technologies, like right down the line. But before the round starts, everybody has a set number of cubes, and they use these to bid on where you want to go in each one of these phases. So whoever put the most cubes in orders is going to get the first choice of orders. Whoever put the most cubes in inks is going to get the first choice of inks. So there's it's not as simple as I just need to go out and get the things like a regular worker placement game, because it's not a worker placement game. It's just when it's your turn to pick things, you pick out of what's left. And then one of the things that you can get is actually scoring cards at the end. So like that's the very last thing in the sequence of events. But in a nutshell, that's Gutenberg. And like I said, Tiffany would beat me up if I didn't talk about her play for the month of July. So I absolutely had to mention that on her behalf. Gutenberg. Thank you.
We don't want to see you get beat up. I mean, we do, but we don't.
Again, right?
Well, so we can record first.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be a live broadcast. Come on.
In the next episode, no live bears or kaijus, but it's Erock getting his butt kicked.
Oh, well, whatever. Come and see it. It'll be on the next one.
All right, Jim Jam, JJ, what was your top pick for July?
Okay, so I didn't have a lot to choose from, which is really weird for me. But most of my plays came from the beginning of the month, so I'm going to try to remember how to play my game for July, which was Carnegie. This is my first time. It was my first time playing it, so obviously, if you know anything about Carnegie, it took me about halfway through the game to realize what I was doing. There's a lot going on in this game. It took about an hour to explain. And I'm going to try to do that for you here really quickly. So you play as the member of Carnegie, the family or whatever, and you're trying to build up your little player board there with the offices or buildings on your board, and you're sending your workers out to do all these different actions. But what's it's interesting about this game, which interesting, annoying, whatever you want to say, is in turn order. The start player gets to choose what action goes off for that round, which is really annoying when you don't have any buildings of that action and it goes off, and then it's probably not going to go off for the rest of the game. Maybe once more or 2 times more. So it's almost kind of Rondale-ish, because the actions during setup are put out on the little action board. And they're supposed to be spread out pretty evenly, but sometimes it's just random. So sometimes it could be all of the one action where you can buy people, or I don't remember which each action does, but there could be all of the one action all at the front, the very beginning of the game, and then you could just never see it for the rest of the game. Also, there's different regions on the main player board. You need to take your disc off of your player board. I think it was the disc. I forgot where the discs come from, but you need to put them onto the actual map, which is a map of the US, and connect networks and everything like that. So there's different regions. There's like West, Midwest, and then like North and South. And as far as the actions go, there's each region has an action for it, and that going off, you need to have your workers there in order to score points there. And if you don't have any workers there and that goes by, then it's like you just skip out on the victory points and the powers that come with it. So having played it once and not understanding till halfway through, I did okay, but it was very annoying not knowing how to play it. So I definitely got to play it again before I forget it. There's a lot going on because you can upgrade your little money, your income phase. You can get more money, more victory points during that time, which I hadn't realized. Oh yeah, you might want to get some victory points on the income phase since it happens so often. And then there's also end game victory points that you can get at the top of the board, which only one person can take that specific one for the rest of the game. that's pretty much how it goes. And if you're not set up for it, then you can miss out on victory points that way. And also placing your little disc on the map during the game, having those connected and having one on each of the major cities gets you a lot of victory points. So it's very hard to catch up. There's not really a catch up mechanic if you fall too far behind, because if you're not getting the victory points and somebody's just got their victory point thing churning every income phase, they're just scooting ahead. And unless you can get your disc on one of the major cities, that's like the biggest way to get one big chunk of victory points. So there's very much a learning curve in the game, but it's very fun. It's very thematic with the whole Carnegie era of America. So I like it. Different ways to get all the victory points. So that was great. And point salad, a whole lot of point salad and timing and everything. So it's also a little bit of take that, because you can screw other people if you can see that they haven't built up that specific action, or they don't have any workers on the action on their little player board. You can just jump on it if you know. If you can score a lot of victory points to get a lot of money during that time, you can screw other people. So point salad, take that, all that networking game all mixed into one, and very good theme. Carnegie, played 5 times, and hopefully you'll understand it by that 5th time.
Yeah, this game was in basically continuous play at the Dice Tower East convention. Yeah, very popular.
I feel sorry for the people that only got to play it one time, because you didn't understand it that first time. So I imagine they played it multiple times during the convention. But it's a very meaty game, definitely.
When this came out, I kind of thought this kind of looks like everything else. So I didn't have a lot of interest. You're like the third person that I really like Carnegie. I'm like, really? Yeah. So I'm gonna have to play it. Thank you.
Yeah. Some good friends of mine played it twice at the convention and then bought a copy for themselves at home.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. If they made any expansion on there, it'd just be even better. And it's definitely not a Care Bear game. You kind of screwing your other people, because you just take the action before they can build it up, and it's good. It's good.
Okay, well, I guess that leaves me. I did not go to Dice Tower East, so I did not play 30 games. I played maybe this many games, which was actually that was a pretty good month for me. But I think I'm going to go with an oldie. It's a simple game, but I taught my wife how to play because I got tired of playing Harvest Dice, and we play a lot of the same games, because once she learns the game, she wants to play it a bunch to learn how to do it. And I like to move on and play different things. So I had Kingdomino sitting on my shelf for, I don't know, since Christmas. I picked it up with some Kohl's cash that I had, and it was going to expire. So I got it there when they have all their little games out for Christmas. So I got Kingdomino. I taught her how to play it, and she really liked it. And we played it, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And it's a fairly simple game. You are basically building a 5x5 grid of dominoes that are different land types. So I think there's five different land types. There's forest, plains, desert, water, and mines, right? I
think that's it.
So on your turn, you have little. It's basically like you're bidding on these tiles. The tiles are number ordered randomly. They come out of the box randomly, but you put them in sequential order from lowest to highest. Usually higher number tiles are better. They're going to have the crowns on them that are going to score you the points. The lower number tiles are usually going to be the blank ones and not have as many crowns, if any. And all you do on your turn is you take your little worker guys and you put them on a tile. That tile is going to be the one that you picked for that round. And you have to place it. And there are some strict placement rules, but they're pretty easy. It's very hard to not place a tile on a turn. Basically, you have to have at least one of the sides match up with one of the sides of the other tile. So you got to connect water to water, mine to mine. At least one of them has to touch. So you can have a water and a plains tile meet up with a water and a forest tile. So what you're trying to do is make these big swaths of lands. They're all the same, and then connect them with crowns, because you get a multiplier based on how many crowns times how many lands are there. It's a very simple game. The kind of the catch to it is figuring out the timing of your draft essentially for the tile, because whenever you pick your tile, if you pick one of those high number tiles, you're going to go last or later in the round for the next draft on the next round. If you pick a low number tile, you're going to get to go first, but you have to kind of weigh, do I want those crowns? Or a lot of the mines are in the higher level ones, and the mines usually give you the most crowns. So you're trying to balance that. Do I want to go first this round? Do I want to go last? Do I really need that crown or that specific tile so I don't get blocked? And it's just a very simple game, very simple rules. It plays very quickly. With 2 players, you're over in, I think, like 5 rounds. I think you draft 2 tiles each round, and you end up with a 5x5 grid.
It can't be more than like 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's very quick. Yeah, it's a super fast game, that's one of the checklist items that my wife has to go. She used to play lots of longer games, but now it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and that's about the length of time. And if it's a fast game, maybe we'll play another one, maybe we won't. But Kingdomino, that's my pick for July. Yeah,
that's a good little game.
Yeah, I played Kingdomino a long time ago, and I thought it was okay. Like, I mean, it was a decent game, but then, I played it more recently with my kids, and that has really sort of raised my opinion of the game, right? It plays, I don't know, something about playing it with the kids, and, and it goes so fast, and they enjoy it so much, they'll sometimes just want to turn around and play it again right after we finish a game. Games like that are still sort of thinky and fun for adults, but also playable by kids, sort of raises my rating of a game. So I've revisited Kingdomino playing with younger kids, and I enjoy it a lot more now.
This is the first one, right?
Yeah, not Queendomino.
What's the difference between them?
I don't know. Anybody know?
The Queendomino has like extra little things that go on the tiles to score you points.
Almost like an expansion, like Kingdomino plus stuff.
I think there is an expansion also, like Giants or something. But yeah,
interesting.
It's just one of those times where I think they took a game and made it more gamery. So I didn't even bother looking at it or playing it, because basically the track record of people taking a fun game and trying to make it more gamery is awful. So I don't know if it's awful, but
I haven't played it either. But I mean, I played Kingdomino, and that's a good little simple quick game.
Yeah. Well, there's a new version of Kingdomino, like Kingdomino Origins or something as well, that I also just sort of ignored because I have Kingdomino. I think you can play Kingdomino with that, but then it also has extra stuff. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So that was our top picks for July. Some of us had more to choose from than others, but as always, like, share, subscribe, check our description down below for our Discord link. Come argue with us or agree with us.
I'm just saying, I put a spoiler up as to what my top play was going to be on the Discord channel, so you could have made some money off of your family and friends if you were subscribed to our Discord channel. I'm just saying.
Also, check in the Discord. We put our games that we're playing. There was a lot of pictures during Dice Tower.
Oh yeah, there were.
Yeah.
So come check us out on Discord. That is Steven, that is Erock, that is Jim Jam, and I am Lloyd, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, y'all. Happy gaming.